Hi everybody, it is April and I'm in my craft room, and today we are going to make a panel quilt using charm squares. When I was in Paducah at the Paducah Quilt Show, I went to Hancock Fabrics of Paducah. It's overwhelmingly large. It was very cool. I would like to go back. It was almost too big. There was almost too much. But I struggled. I made it through. I pushed through. I powered on, and I was able to bring myself to overcome the vast variety of fabric and actually purchased some fabric. One of my favorite things that I purchased is this panel. Now you know I love panels if you watched my channel in the past, because you know they're so conducive to making a quilt quickly. And with the techniques that they have now, panels are beautiful. I mean, they're just beautiful. So here is my panel, and it is by Moda, and the name of the panel is The Friendliest Flower. Now, there is a little saying on here, don't you think daisies are the friendliest flower? It's actually a question, not a saying, but that was in a movie, and whenever I hear that, I always think of this movie, and so I want you to put down in the comments below if you know which movie I'm talking about. It could be in more than one movie, maybe in more than one movie, but the movie that I'm thinking of is one of my faves. It is old, but it is one of my favorites. So I found this when I was at Paducah, and I found a couple coordinating fabrics. I found this stripe, and it's like a watercolor stripe, which I really like. And I also found this. It's okay. I bought it because it's coordinating, and I was hoping that it would inspire me. Not yet. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago when I was in Denver, Colorado. I went to Maggie's Sewing and Vacuum, and guess what I found? Charm packs that matched this collection. I was so excited. So I bought 2 of them. I've already taken them apart, so I can't really show you, and I'm not even going into what happened to the part of my video where I had filmed the actual charm pack, and then anyway, it's been one of those things. So I decided this would be really cool. I slapped my panel up on the wall, and this is what I did. So you can see that I put charm squares all around the panel, and I really liked the way that looked. Now at that point I had no clue as to what I was going to do with this panel, but it all started there, and it ended up here. So here is the tutorial on how I went from a panel and some charm squares to this quilt. And I'm sorry about all the background noise. I've got my husband mowing and the air conditioning on, but I'm not turning the air conditioner off because then, you know, I would go and die. So you've seen the panel. I have sewn charm pack squares in the coordinating fabric that I'm going to put on all sides of the panel. So the panel will be surrounded by these charm pack squares. Now there is a blue border on the panel, so I don't think it's going to look too busy. This is going to be a cornerstone. So I will have 4 of these, and they will go in each corner. Bringing the cornerstones together on the outside of the charm squares will be this pretty lime green called Shadow Play by Maywood Studios. So I need to cut 2 5-inch rectangles. So 5 by 3. 5 by 3, 5 by 3, and this is going to be 10 by 3 and 10 by 3. That will make up my cornerstone. So I have to pick out from this pile of charm squares which 4 fabrics I want in the corners. That's the plan. So let me finish my cornerstones. I'll show you those, and then I will get started on my border. Okay. What am I waiting for? So what I ended up doing on my cornerstones is, in order to get a really pretty square block, I ended up trimming 2.5 inches from this seam. And I did that all the way around the block. So I lined up my 2.5 inch mark on my ruler right on this seam and trimmed it. Then I lined my 2.5 inches and trimmed here. And that way I do have a smaller block. It's a 9.5 inch block, but it is perfectly square. And when I say perfectly, I use that term very loosely. I've got my cornerstones ready. This is a 9.5 inch. So now I need to cut this fabric at 9.5 inches to put in between my cornerstones. But first, let's sew these charm strips on the panel and see how it looks. Here I have sewn the charm pack onto the edge of the panel. When I sew something like this, where I want the 1/4 inch seam to be as close to perfect as I'm gonna get it, I like to hold it out. So this is the side I'm going to sew on, and then fold it over, and even fold it over one more time. So when you have this under the sewing machine, you've got control over here. You don't have a lot of bulk hanging on the outside away from your needle, dragging anything down. Now I'm going to put the other charm strip on this side. So it turns out I only have 4 strips of this green at 9.5 inches, which makes sense. A yard is 36 inches. 36 divided by 4 is 9. You do the math. So obviously I didn't. So after pondering for quite some time, and after looking at some blues and some yellow and multiple different colors, because there are plenty of colors in this panel, but none of them looked the way I pictured it. So I decided I'm going to do this half, or this top, and this side in the light green. So let's get a little visual here. And then the bottom and this side in a dark green. Now this isn't cut yet. I just happen to have this piece. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do. Now, this one strip is just shy of bringing these 2 cornerstones together. So this is why I put 2 strips together, and then I will start at a point closer to the seam when I sew the top, because I don't want a seam so close to my cornerstone that it takes away from it. So I will just place this on the floor. Kind of, not quite the middle, but here it's in the middle, but you know, you get the point. So that then I will take one of these strips that's left over and attach it to that strip, and that should be enough to get me that side. And I will do the same thing with this darker green. So there you go, that's the plan. Let's see how it works out. So I have made some progress. I have attached this border and this cornerstone, and then I have attached this border, this cornerstone here. It is still free. It's a little lower than it was before because, well, you know, I'm only so tall, I can only reach up so high. So this strip is ready to go, but I'm not going to attach it yet. First, I need to attach this to my light green strip that goes across the bottom. My quilt top is complete. As you can see, I've got my cornerstones on each side and here. This is such a pretty panel. I absolutely love this panel. Now this will not be the last you see of this quilt, because there's something that I want to do that I've been wanting to do now for a while that is very special and that I have seen on quilts at a lot of the quilt shows that I have attended. I have been contemplating doing it myself, and this seems like the perfect quilt. However, I can't do what I want to do until I have the batting and the backing on and I have it quilted. And what I want to do is I want to add crystals to this. I've been collecting these crystals, and these are in all different colors. I want to attach my crystals using my Cricut mini press, which is just essentially a little iron. And Dee discovered that it works beautifully for gluing your crystals onto your creations. So that is something you can look forward to if you're interested in trying that. Like I said, I've seen it on all kinds of quilts at all kinds of quilt shows, and it just adds just something a little extra special when you look and you see some glittery, which, you know, who doesn't love glittery? Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Eat some chocolate and be kind to everyone. Until next time, bye. And then, honestly, I brought it out, the strip out, when I had this cornerstone. Then this will be one solid seam. That's not what I want to say. Solid piece of fabric, or one, what will it be? And that is sparkly gemstones. That's not right. Put the batting and backing on, and I have to itch my nose. Can't do what I want to do until I have the backing and the binding, not the binding,